this video, we're going to be looking at evaluating the other 5 trigonometric functions when we're given one trigonometric function. So number 3, it says, in a right triangle, theta is an acute angle and sine of theta is equal to 4/7. Evaluate the other 5 trigonometric functions of theta. So we already are given one. We're given that sine of theta is equal to 4/7. So that means I automatically can tell what cosecant is because I know cosecant is the reciprocal of that. So that means that cosecant of theta is going to be 7/4. But now I need to figure out what these other ones are. And for those other ones, I need to know what my missing side is. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a right triangle so we can get a visual of what's happening here. And now with sine, I need to remember what 4 represents and what 7 represents. So I'm going to remember SOHCAHTOA. So I know so. Write that out. Okay. So SOHCAHTOA, I see that's going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So that means that 4 is my opposite side and 7 is my hypotenuse. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick one of these angles to be theta. So I'm going to have that be theta. So I know 4 is the opposite side from theta. So that means that this side is 4 and 7 is my hypotenuse, which I know is opposite of my right angle. So I'm just missing this adjacent side. So to find that adjacent side, I need to do a squared plus 4 squared is equal to 7 squared. Since 7 is my hypotenuse, that's always going to be my c squared. And so I have a squared plus 16 is equal to 49. When I subtract 16 from both sides, I get that a squared is equal to 33. And then I'm going to take the square root. Here I see when I take the square root, I don't get a whole number. So I'm just going to leave this in radical form. So it's going to be the square root of 33. So I have that 4 is my opposite side, 7 is my hypotenuse, and my adjacent is square root of 33. And now we're going to go ahead and fill out the rest of this. So cosine of theta, that's cos, that is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that is going to equal to the square root of 33 over 7. And then tangent of theta, that is TOA, so that's going to be opposite over adjacent. So that's going to be 4 over square root of 33. And we do something always called rationalize the denominator. And so I can't have a radical in the denominator. So to get rid of that, I would multiply top and bottom by the square root of 33. And so I would get that this actually is 4 square root of 33 over 33. And then secant and cotangent, that is just going to be the reciprocal of cosine and tangent. So cosine of theta is square root of 33 over 7. So this is going to be 7 over the square root of 33. And again, to rationalize that denominator, I'd multiply top and bottom by square root of 33. So I get 7 square root of 33 over 33. And then cotangent, that's just going to be reciprocal. And so that's going to be square root of 33 over 4. Okay, let's look at one more. So in the right triangle, theta is an acute angle and cosine of theta is equal to 7/10. Evaluate the other 5 trigonometric functions of theta. So I have cosine of theta is 7/10. So I automatically know that secant of theta is going to be 10/7 because I know secant of theta is the reciprocal of cosine of theta. And so now I'm going to draw a picture so I can visually see my 3 sides. Cosine, I know from SOHCAHTOA, that's cos, so that's going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So drawing in my theta, my hypotenuse is opposite of my right angle, so that's going to be 10. 7 is my adjacent angle, so it's going to be the angle the side right next to my angle, so that's going to be right here. And so I'm just missing my opposite side. So to find that, I'm just going to do a squared plus 7 squared is equal to 10 squared. So I get a squared plus 49 is equal to 100. When I subtract 49 from both sides, I get that a squared is equal to 51. And then taking the square root of both sides, I get that a is equal to the square root of 51. And that square root cannot be simplified. So I have that my opposite side is square root of 51. So now I can go ahead and fill out the rest of these. So sine, I know that's so that's opposite over hypotenuse. So that's going to be the square root of 51 over 10. And then tangent of theta is opposite over adjacent. And so that is going to be the square root of 51 over 7. And then I know cosecant and cotangent, those are just going to be their reciprocals. So I get 10 over the square root of 51. And then rationalizing that denominator, I get 10 square root of 51 over 51. And then cotangent of theta, that's going to be the reciprocal of tangent. So I have 7 over the square root of 51. And when I rationalize that denominator, I get 7 times the square root of 51 over 51.